All right, what is going on, guys? UFC 319, Chimaev versus Duplessis has ended, and these are going to be the fights to make after the event. Real quick, I want to say, when I recorded this video originally, my dumbass had the first two fights blocked with my face cam. So I'm just going to re-record these first two fights, and then I'm going to cut to the rest of my original recording, but I'll be covering the first two fights. But the fighters aren't going to be changing on the opponents I'm giving them. So starting with Khamzat Chimaev, the winner of the main event, absolutely dominated Dricus Du Plessis, and wants a quick turnaround. So I want to give him that against Rainer de Ritter. You know, I think the winner of Imavov and Baralho are probably the true number one contender, but because of timing and the fact that Khamzat Chimaev wants to do a quick turnaround, Rainer de Ritter could make this turnaround to Abu Dhabi. In fact, he said it online. Both of them have agreed to fight online. I think it's a great, fun matchup. Personally, I think with de Ritter's grappling background, he probably has the best chance to beat Chimaev in just the build that he has. I think he has a better chance than Imavov. Imavov got controlled and dominated in the first round by Brendan Allen. Baralho, maybe. He does have a decent grappling background, and he's pretty good on the feet. But I think de Ritter has a better chance than both those guys, and better than Dricus' next opponent as well. But I think it's going to be a fun matchup. Great. I think it's going to be a great fight. Rainer de Ritter is always in fun fights. Chimaev's usually always in fun fights outside of this last one. But yeah, I think just based on timing, this makes sense. Moving on, Dricus Du Plessis got absolutely dominated by Khamzat Chimaev in the main event. We're going to give him an opponent. I'm not calling it a bounce back, okay? I'm not giving him an easy fight. We're giving him Anthony Hernandez. I think the way middleweight's going right now, you have Rainer de Ritter needs to fight Khamzat Chimaev in Abu Dhabi, October. Then, the winner of Imavov versus Baralho fights the winner of that fight. And then in the meantime, Dricus Du Plessis did go 5 rounds. Didn't take a whole lot of damage, but he was kind of talking funny at the post-fight. So, or after the fight, in the cage. So maybe there's something going on with his mouth. Maybe he's a little sore. But we'll give him some time off. Maybe like January, February-ish. You have Dricus Du Plessis versus Anthony Hernandez. And if Hernandez can get a win over Dricus Du Plessis, I think that earns him a title shot. Dricus is a formal champion, if I can talk right. Former champion, defended his belt a couple times. It would be a solid win from Anthony Hernandez. And I'm probably picking Anthony Hernandez to win that fight. Honestly, I'm probably picking him. But I think it's going to be a great matchup, a fun matchup for Dricus Du Plessis. Although he might be a little scared to take it, a little hesitant, because Hernandez does have a good grappling base, and his coach has come out and said that he doesn't want to fight Chimaev again. And what is Chimaev? He's a grappler. Now, I don't think Hernandez is on the same level as Chimaev as far as the grappling, but he's still got a very good grappling base, and I could see him using that to get a win over Dricus Du Plessis in their potential matchup. But yeah, that is it for these two fights. Moving on to the other ones. Enjoy the video. Moving on, we have Lerone Murphy knocked out Aaron Pico brutally, spinning back elbow KO. Title shot. He gets over Movsar Evloev, okay? Movsar pulled out of the fight with Aaron Pico. He's injured, so even if, which I thought Movsar was the true number one contender, he's injured. So we're going to do Lerone Murphy, Volk. Volk's calling for it in December. He called for it right after Lerone won. Great fight. Love the fight. I hope Volk can get a win here, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But I think this will be a great matchup. Fun fight. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Moving on. Carlos Prates gets the win over Jeff Neal. Again, via spinning back elbow KO. I'm going to give him his call out. Leon Edwards. If Leon Edwards doesn't want to take it, as you can see, MVP is still up there. I do not want to see Carlos Prates versus Michael Venom Page. Page needs to stay at middleweight, okay? He's got 2 wins at middleweight, 1 win at welterweight, and then he needs to stay at middleweight. I think there are more exciting matchups at middleweight for MVP and potentially a easier path to the title at middleweight. Because people like him for whatever reason. He's fun, quote unquote, exciting. And I think if he gets a win over the opponent I'm going to give him, he might get a title shot. He might jump the line over some people, but maybe not. But going back to Prates, I think Leon Edwards is a very good matchup for Prates. And for Edwards, Prates is not a grappler. He's not going to go out there and grapple. He's going to be very pressure heavy. But I think this would be a better matchup than another grappler for Leon Edwards. Moving on to Michael Page. What I got for him, Sean Strickland. Now, I don't know if Strickland is able to fight. I don't know if he's actually banned or whatever. I've seen things online. I don't know what's true and what's not. Assuming Strickland can fight somewhere, I think you do MVP versus Sean Strickland. Strickland is on what is he on? I think just a 1-fight losing streak. Okay, because he beat Costa and then fought. Okay. You could also do MVP versus Israel Adesanya. I think that would be another matchup if you don't want to do the Strickland matchup. But I think the way Adesanya fight and Page fights, I think this matchup might be a little bit more exciting because they're both kind of counter strikers where Strickland will move forward at least. So if he's going to get hit and it be a somewhat of an exciting fight, at least he's going to go forward and get hit per se. But yeah, I think this would be, Jerry Cannonier is a really solid win from Michael Page. So I'm giving him a top-ranked opponent next at middleweight to see what he can do. He's older. If he wants to make a run for a title, it's now or never. And I think the cut for middleweight would be a lot easier than the cut for welterweight. So, yeah. Tim Elliott gets his win over Kai Asakura. I'm looking to give Tim Elliott a step-up in competition. I believe he's now on a 3-fight winning streak. It's either a 2 or 3-fight winning streak, defending his position in the flyweight rankings. Next, we're going to give him Manel Kape. Reason being, Manel Kape, it seems like he's consistently injured or pulling out of fights. So he needs to defend his position again. When you keep getting these top-ranked matchups, and then you keep pulling out of the matchups, you kind of get put back at the end of the line. So, let's give him a step up in competition. Do I think Tim Elliott potentially loses this fight? Yes, I do. I think Manel Kape probably wins the fight. But still, I want to give him his chance, step up in the rankings. One more fight on his contract, I believe. And Dana White in the post-fight presser did say he wanted to keep Tim Elliott around. So I'm assuming they're going to sign him to a new contract. I think this will be a fun matchup. Kape's usually in exciting fights, so I don't see why this one wouldn't be. Moving on, Mikhail Oksechek gets it done over Jaromir Mearshart. Calls out Marvin Vettori. Although I like the call out, and I'd probably pick him to win the fight, I don't think he quite deserves a top 15 opponent yet. I want him to get one more win over a decent opponent with that people know who he is, whether it's good or bad. And that is going to be Brian Battle. Brian Battle was supposed to fight on this card, missed weight. So, could he make the weight? Yes, I'm sure he can make the weight. I think you do Mikhail Oksechek versus Brian Battle, and if Mikhail Oksechek gets a win, give him a top 15 opponent after that. You maybe could say the same for Brian Battle with the streak he's on right now. It's just the fact that he's missing weight. He needs to get that fixed, get it on point, make the weight like a professional. And I think he could be a top 15 opponent at middleweight or welterweight, if I'm being honest. But I think this would be a fun matchup. Obviously, Battle didn't fight, and Oksechek didn't take any damage. So you could do this, in a couple of months, honestly. So I think this would be a fun fight, great fight. Cannot wait for it. You could even put it, since Mikhail Oksechek is on the Fighting Nerds team, you could put it on the Brazil card. That would be nice. Right there. Boom. Look, I'm doing it for the UFC. Anyway, moving on. Alexander Hernandez gets a win over Chase Hooper in an upset. Everybody was picking, not everybody, a lot of people were picking Chase Hooper, including myself. Thought he was going to go out there and win over Alexander Hernandez. But he didn't. Hernandez got the win, KO first round. Dakar Close. Close was on this card. To be fair, he did go through like a 3-round war, per se, with Edson Barbosa. But Hernandez doesn't fight all that often. So if they were going to do it this year, you could probably do it in December of this year. If not, you could do it like January, February of next year. Alexander Hernandez, Dakar Close, and if Hernandez can get a win, he potentially might be looking at a top 15 matchup, trying to get himself back in the rankings after he was all those years ago. I think Close, good opponent, decent opponent. I might favor Hernandez in this fight. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. Both these guys are always in decently fun fights, so I think this would be a good one. But that's it for today. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you like the matchup for Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis? Let me know down below. And if you don't, who would you rather them fight? Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.